what about trends? So, back to this idea that, plastic surgery is unique. I don't know if people talk about trends in other areas of medicine. Like we constantly talk about trends in plastic surgery almost on a yearly basis. But and maybe that speaks to the fact that there's not really universal standards of beauty, and these things change, and they change based on so many external factors. But um, what do you think are the trends that you've noticed over the past couple years that have really come to the forefront?
Well, some things are obvious. I guess the most obvious one is something that we mentioned at the start of this talk, which was the non-surgical world, the energy-based devices, the injectables, the fillers, all that kind of thing. That has grown exponentially to an industry that's apparently $12 billion in the world and is expected to double in the next 5 years. Surgery is not growing like that. As a trend, I see the non-surgical world growing and growing and growing because there is a lot of effort and frankly, research money from corporations in the non-surgical world. And I suspect there are going to be further and further advances. Now, what kind of advances? Maybe we will get to the point where fat removal will be a non-surgical thing completely. Maybe we'll get to the point where deep tissue tightening in the face will do the job that a facelift does. Maybe we'll get to a point where it'll be something better than artificial filler for, say, a breast. Maybe we could inject a breast with something that would be safe and wouldn't require surgery. So would surgery change with all that? Well, yeah, it certainly would, but I really don't think surgery is going to disappear because as long as we have human beings wanting to look a certain way, there will be things that the non-surgical world can't deliver. And as long as we keep aging, there are going to be things that I think surgeons will be able to do that others won't. But going back to what I said earlier, if you take the face, really, we haven't invented many new operations. We still do blepharoplasties. We could tweak them. Facelifts, we can tweak that. Brow lifts change. Our objectives with brow lifts have changed, and the internationalization of surgery has changed because as the world becomes, I'd say a mixture, a racial mixture, really, of people across all races and all cultures. What beauty of the face is and of the body has changed, and we're looking at different things, trying to achieve different objectives. I think that trend's going to keep growing, and so the Anglo-Saxon, Northern European beauty objective is going to fade, and we're going to be into more of an international look that people are going to want to achieve.
Yeah, I think it's very true. I think the role of ethnicity in aesthetics is a key one that in some ways I think there's probably still a lot more to explore. What are the beauty standards in different ethnicities and different regions of the world? And we had somebody on a while back in one of our previous podcasts from a filler company who was talking about this because their markets are global and their trends, they see these trends globally. And do you see that in facelift surgery where there is a markedly different standard in different cultural groups?
Yeah, to some degree, although facelifting and in general, surgery to make people look like they used to, pretty universal. We have a lot of Asian people in Vancouver, and those Asian patients who come in with pictures of themselves from their 25 years old, that's really what they want to look like. The white person who comes in holds up the same picture and says, this is what they want to go back in time. They don't, the Chinese person doesn't want to look white and the white person doesn't want to look Chinese. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that's universal. But you take body surgery and nose surgery, for example, those are fundamental body changes. And the Latino Brazilian buttock look, that's something that 20 years ago, Caucasian people or Asian people, it wasn't in their mind at all. So that's an example of something that over a fairly short period of time, 20 years, it becomes something of a cultural ideal that all cultures are looking for. That was not the case. So I think internationalization is going to change things like that. But simply looking younger, boy, I don't think that cuts across all cultures, all nationalities.